A little bit of NXT. You see the title. I'm not gonna lie about it. I'm worried for Mike, but I'll give my explanation after I review the show. What do we get in the opening? 6-man tag. Shugs. Let me give it to you like this. We've reached a point now with Dark State dealing with Shugs, Saquon Shugs, that there must be an end. Someone has to disappear. Sorry guys, it's gotten that far. Dion Lennox and Sugeman need to finally be separated, so there must be a match that's going to do this. I don't know which one it is. The only one I could think of, if I'm right. Because the best one that would really solve this would be I Quit. But I don't know if they would do that. I don't know if they would do a last man standings match. I don't think they would go there. Or a steel cage. I just don't see it. Because it wouldn't be enough. Because you're going to still have Osiris and you're going to still have Cutler. That's the problem. The only thing I can think of is I Quit. But I don't know if they'll go there with them. The match itself, when it came to Dark State with Romeo and Nolan Dar, it was alright. It was a fine match. I gotta say that Nolan Dar hasn't lost much of his step, which is actually a good thing. I know it's not like he hasn't been able to get himself back into shape or anything, but he has looked pretty good in the last couple of matches that he's done, so that's okay. In the end, what do we get? A beatdown at the end of that match. And it was Romeo who had to eat it. You got Shugs and Dion into the wall like everybody else were going to a wall. And they're still screaming at each other after it was over. It has to end. I do believe a last man standings match might not work. I think I Quit would be the only one that would really solve this problem. But like I said, I don't know. I don't think they'll go there with it. They may just do a steel cage match. I don't think they'll do a last man standing. Next match. Carver versus Hank. This is due to the fact of their meetup. The meet and greet. What is this really giving Hank? Excuse me. What is this giving Hank? Don't know. Not much. Hank and Tank are really not gaining that much, even though they did work with EK later. The person here that really, I don't know where they're going with Carver. Keanu is not a bad character. He's not. But he's not much different than... Here's the thing. Jasper Troy looked good. He looked like he meant something. But once they gave him the Speed Championship, that was it for him. Then, you now see Carver, who is taking the spot of Jasper Troy. And it feels like they're about to go zoom with him as well. Unless they do something substantial with him, he's no different than any big man they've had. Look, when you look at Josh Briggs, he looked like he should have already gone to the main. I don't think he's gone there yet. I don't think he's gone to the main roster. I think he's just gone to AAA or some other promotion. As far as I can tell, unless he's in Evolve, that's where he is. Jasper Troy, I think he went back to Evolve. Well, he went to Evolve. Now I think Keanu is going to do the same thing. He's now working against 3 guys. You got Hank, Tank, and EK. But what does this really give Keanu? I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, he's going to be like Jasper Troy and Josh Briggs. They're not on TV. That's the way it looks. And I think he's reached here, and he's going to go there. But this is just my point of view. I hope I'm not right. They are going to do something with him, but that's just me. Keanu won. There was a beatdown by Keanu onto Hank. Then Tank tried to stop, and then EK got him. He nailed him with the help of Hank and Tank. Next, Miss Parker versus Natty. Now, Natty did talk with Thea Hale before the match. And understand, Thea is in the TV title contention in TNA. She wanted to talk to Mr. Stone, probably about what's going on in TNA, because she's moving up. She did not lose her match against Harley Harley Hudson. So she's still in it. So it looks like she was trying to talk to him about that. But then, when you see her talking to Natty, and then the attitude comes out with Natty. And I say this, I'm going to keep saying it. Nikita Lyons, my girl, should leave WWE. Because she is not getting anywhere. As Evolved Champion, I just don't see anything for her. She needs to leave the company. I hope they let her go. Or if her contract's coming up, I hope she doesn't resign. Because as far as I'm concerned, she ain't getting nowhere. She's not getting anywhere. Petrovic maybe might get somewhere. But when it comes to her, I just don't see it because they just made her do everything and they still got her in the same position. Either working with someone or she's in a very low tier Evolved Champion. But then we get the match between Natty and Miss Parker. Good match. I really did like the match. It was good. The question is, how are they going to do blow off? Because now, supposedly, this is the third match they have had. And now, Miss Parker won due to the fact of, are you telling me that you had Thea Hale, who was having an attitude, who's not liking Natty, which I can understand why Natty's a bitch right now, threw in the damn towel while Petrovic, and I thought that it probably was going to be Nikita Lyons who's going to throw in the towel. But it was Thea who threw in the towel, and Natty's angry, and now you're going to have what? A feud with Natty, maybe Thea, but then no, because it looks like it's going to be a tag situation, because now Miss Parker didn't have a problem with Thea. Thea has no problem with Miss Parker. They seem to be cool, fist bumping, and now you're going to have Natty dealing with either Petrovic or Nikita, who is Evolved Champ. And if she's put into the fray, which I think she will be, she is going to job to protect Natty. Because I don't see Thea losing. I don't see Miss Parker losing. And I don't see no Natty losing. So if it's not Petrovic who's going to eat it, it's definitely the Evolved Champion is going to eat it. I'm like, really? Next. Okay. Niku versus... Why did I think this was going to go a different direction? Why? Now, it's not a bad direction. Look what happened. We had a good match between him and Spears. You see a Izzy and Lizzie are now fighting one another. Izzy Dane is fighting Lizzie Rain. And you see a live cheat and steal from a little bit of Sean Spears with that chair in Nico's hands because Sean brings it into the ring. Izzy comes out. Lizzie comes out, attacks Izzy. We get a whack to the mat. We see Nico holding the title. Well, pretty much it's a title of you're a stupid bitch for holding on to that damn chair. And you get a DQ win for Sean Spears, who is not the perfect 10. He's not Ty Dillinger. But if he feels it, wouldn't he try to do the 10 thing? If he really wants to get the nostalgia going for a little bit of Sean Spears. I'm like, I thought it was going to go in a different direction. I thought they were going to put over Niku. But they're doing Sean. I don't know if that's the wisest thing to do here. It would have been better if there was some type of screwy ending. I know that's not something I like doing. I don't. Because they use it too much. But in this situation, I think it would have been good for Sean to have a screwy ending and Lizzie helping him out once the fight had begun after the match. I just feel like that would have been good because then it would prolong it. But I'm not saying I hate this. I'm just saying that I think some type of DQ or some type of screwing ending would have been better. But it doesn't mean this is bad either. It's okay. Next. maybe I should talk about what we got. Look, let's make this very clear. We're going to have an underground match. We're going to have Kendall versus a Lola Vice. Did I like the segment? No. It felt over-rehearsed to me personally. I'm sorry, it did. Did Kendall sound alright? Not too bad, but it sounded rehearsed with her. And then let's make it very clear. Lola is not one of the greatest people on the mic. She sounded alright, but it also sounded rehearsed. This really did sound rehearsed. And that was the problem for me personally. If both of them seem like they're just hitting the talking points and not really feeling the emotion, it takes away from it. Now, it wasn't all bad. They talked well, and they got the point across, but it lacked emotion. I'm just saying. That's just me. You guys tell me below. Okay. Let me give it to you like this. Knowing that Danhausen, I haven't seen Raw. I didn't see it. I didn't see the three Judgment Day, 3 segments, and 5 Danhausen segments. I haven't seen them. I didn't see Raw. But hearing about it from JD, I'm going like, what the hell? They really got nothing going for them before SummerSlam? That they got to give Danhausen 5 segments? That could have been devoted to people in the back that I will be bringing up at the end of this review? Really? But you see Charlotte Hill trying to get a tooth from him. And he gives Danhausen crypto because he didn't have no cash. I'm like, really? I'm not feeling it. I wasn't feeling that segment. Next. No, I already went through that. Okay. Last match. I'm going to say this. Since it was the first, supposedly, the first street fight, I don't buy that. But since this is the new era, I would say that's the reason why they said it. But a street fight for both, let me give it to like this. Did it feel like it could have been a last man standing match instead of a street fight? Yeah, I think Nakaru, and Tony D could have had a last man standing match. I think that would have made more sense in this. They could have done the same thing, but I think a last man standing match would have been better. It's just me. It wasn't a bad street fight. I liked it. Tony gets sprayed in the face once. Then he gets sprayed at twice, but he didn't get the miss. He got it covering his hands. It was alright. It was a good street fight. It wasn't the greatest I've ever seen, but it was good. In the end, Tony retained. But then we got the ending. Here's what the end is. Guys, it's over. Let me give it to you like this. Knowing Mike was going to go to TNA, we've already known this for a while now. I knew, like everybody else, that he was going to go from TNA to NXT. We knew. We already knew, but we didn't want to just throw everything into the hat because, plans could change. And that's the reason why I said until I see it, I don't believe it, but doesn't mean I didn't know about the rumor. Well, he just showed up with his music. And I'm going to be honest here. He comes out. He goes into the fans. He stands on the guardrail. Tony's holding up his title. And I'm going like, are they going to go there? Yup. Let's make this clear. I'm worried for Mike Santana. I'm legitimately worried. I'm sorry. I am. You know why? Because every person they brought in that has a reputation outside the company legitimately doesn't get character development. They don't. They're not developing any characters anymore. When it comes to Mike Santana, he developed all his work in TNA. He spent almost 2.5 years busting his butt to get his new persona over and make it about who he is. And I'm happy for him. I'm proud of him. But when you go to a new company, You have to know that either going to get rid of that persona or they're going to add on top of it. Nakaru, they haven't done nothing to him. Stephanie Vakir, they didn't do nothing to her. Look at, let's make it very clear. Kendall Gray, no development. When it comes to Julia, no development. When you look at the TNA wrestlers that we have that have gone to WWE, we currently have Jordan Grace. As far as I know, Jordan's not hurt anymore. She recovered in April. She came back. She was functioning normally. I checked the wiki. As far as I know, she's not injured and back out again. So she's sitting in the back and catering, collecting dust as a former TNA multiple-time champion, doing nothing. Look at Joe Henry. Joe Henry should have been developed. Joe is still Joe. Joe Henry has no development. He's exactly the same way he was when he came from TNA to WWE. They bothered not to change him to make him like an Elias. When you see the situation, they're not developing people. They're now using just whatever they developed before they come into the company, unless they're just super green and they bring them up in the performance center. The people that have name notoriety, they're doing nothing with them. So I look at Mike. Mike has great notoriety. He is well developed. He is polished. Sometimes he's a bit stiff, yeah. But he's well developed and polished. But that's not the point. The point is, while he's in that company, they need to develop him. Now, being in NXT, he should get some development. But I don't know how much. Because look what happened with Ricky Saints. They just threw a title on him. Look at Ethan Page. They just threw a title on him. I don't want that for him. I want him to build up into being a champion, either a North American champion or a world champion for NXT. And I don't see that happening. They're just going to throw him into the world title picture. And I'm not looking for that. It is going to piss me off that they do this to him and then they do nothing with him. They don't develop him. They make him feel empty. But it's just me. Peace.